Travel these days has never been bigger. More trips, more moving parts, more chances for things to go sideways. And if you've ever looked at travel insurance, you know it's a mess. Dozens of providers, endless fine print, and when your plans fall apart, the help usually is pretty slow to show up. That's why Faye feels different. It's app-based, quick to set up, and built to actually help you while you're on your trip, not weeks later when you're already back home. So in this video, I'll show you what Faye covers, how it works in real life, and why I think it's the best travel insurance for 2025. So let's start with the basics of getting covered. With Faye, it takes less than a minute. You open the app, you plug in your destination, your date range, and what the trip costs, and it builds a plan right there. If you want extras like pet care or adventure sports, you just tap to add them in, then you confirm and you're done. And here's where it already feels different from traditional providers. Most insurance makes you wrestle with forms and tiers, but Faye is designed to be quick. You're not left covering which plan is right, you just get solid coverage that's easy to tailor when you need it. Now the other part is what happens once you're on the road. Faye doesn't just sit quietly in the background. If your gate changes while you're at the airport or a flight gets delayed, you get a notification right away, sometimes before the board even updates. It even helps with the small stuff that usually catches people off guard, things like local emergency numbers, visa rules, weather updates, even what power adapter to use. None of that is flashy, but when you're about to board a flight or land in a new city, it saves so much time and stress. So here's where most travel insurance falls apart, the moment you actually need to file a claim. Normally, it's a nightmare, endless forms, phone calls that go nowhere, and then you're waiting weeks just to see any money. Faye makes it way simpler. If something goes wrong, you just open the app, snap a picture of your receipt, and send it in. That's it. No chasing anyone down, no hours on hold. Once it's approved, the money shows up right away in your Faye wallet. That's a digital card that you link to Apple Pay or Google Pay. So if your bag doesn't make it to Madrid and you're stuck at the carousel with nothing, you can walk straight into a shop and buy what you need. You're not out of pocket forever while you wait for a check to arrive. If you'd rather move the money to your bank, you totally can do that too. But honestly, being able to use those funds while you're still in the middle of your trip, it makes all the difference. And hey, if you're curious what Faye would actually cost for your own trip, there's a link down in the description where you can check out the latest pricing and coverage details. So here's the nice thing about Faye. The base plan really already covers pretty much everything you could want. Your health, your trip, and your stuff. No confusing tiers or trying to guess which plan is the right one. For health, you're covered up to $250,000 for emergencies and $500,000 for medical evacuation. There's even $750 for dental and protection if you get sick from an epidemic or need to get out because of something terrible like a natural disaster or political unrest. For your trip, you're covered if it gets delayed, canceled, or cut short. Cancel before it starts and you'll get back 100% of your non-refundable costs. If for some reason you have to head home early, you're covered up to 150% to help with rebooking costs. And for your stuff, there's up to $2,000 for lost or damaged bags. Even if they're just delayed, you get cash to cover essentials after a few hours, with more if the wait drags on. And all of that comes standard. So let's talk price because that's usually the first question. Face cost usually depends on a few things: your age, how long a trip is, and what you spent on it. But just to give you an example, I ran a quote for myself for a 2-week trip to Paris, around $2,000 total, and it came out to $127. That's about 6% of the trip cost, which lines up with the usual rule of thumb. Most solid plans will run you somewhere between 5 and 7%. But the difference is what you actually get for that price. With Faye, it's not just coverage written in fine print. It's real-time help, quicker payouts, and way less stress when things go wrong. And here's something a lot of people miss. If you buy your plan within 2 weeks of your first trip payment, Faye also covers pre-existing conditions. That is rare. Most providers just don't. And say you're doing something adventurous, skiing in the Alps, scuba diving in Greece, mountain biking in Costa Rica, you can just add that coverage on. A lot of insurers either skip that kind of thing or bury the limits in fine print, but with Faye, it's clear and simple. There's also a pet care add-on, which covers up to $2,500 if your pet has a vet emergency or ends up in quarantine. And if you're renting a car, you can tack on coverage for damage or theft. So whatever kind of trip you're planning, you can adjust the coverage to fit without overpaying for stuff you don't need. And while we're talking about saving money on a trip, let me share with you real quick a travel hack I've been using lately to save money on bookings. It's called Private Honors, and it gives you up to 12% cash back on every trip. Now, here's the idea. Private Honors taps into wholesale rates, basically the price travel agents will see, which can run up to 20% cheaper than public booking sites. If you've ever used Expedia, this will actually feel familiar because Private Honors actually runs through Expedia's travel agent affiliate program, TAP. That's how it passes along the discounts and cashback you normally won't see. I've used it for flights, hotels, even car rentals, and more than once, it beat the prices I found on my own with sites like Skyscanner. Once you sign up, even if it's just a free trial, you can hit the Book My Trip now and it takes you right into Expedia TAP's booking portal. From there, it looks like any other search page, except Private Honors flags the discount rates. Like, for example, I've got my mindset on going to Paris this fall, so I just plugged in my date range and traveler info and the results popped up as usual. But one of the hotels, Hotel Chamar, showed a 50% discount for those dates. You click through and just like anywhere else, you'll see photos and reviews. You're just booking at that lower wholesale rate. So if you want to see how Private Honors could cut down on your travel costs, check out our in-depth review video and use the affiliate link down in the description to get started. Now let's put Faye side by side with some of the other providers out there. Take Alliance. They've been around forever, and their top plans go really high, like up to $1 million for evacuation. But the whole process feels very old school. You're emailing documents, waiting on callbacks, spending way too much time on hold. Then there's World Nomads, which a lot of people use for long-term or rugged trips. They cover things like skydiving or ice climbing, and you can even buy coverage after your trip is already started. That's very flexible, but their claims process is still slow, and their pricing isn't always the clearest. Faye sits right in that middle ground. You get strong medical and trip protection, add-ons for pets or adventure sports, and the whole thing is handled digitally. No paperwork, no hold music, just quick support when you need it. For most travelers, that balance just makes sense. So if you're looking at travel insurance, it's easy to set up and actually helps while you're on your trip, Faye is the one I'd recommend. The coverage is solid, the app is simple to use, and it takes so much of the stress out of those times when plans fall apart. And if Faye or Private Honors sounds like it could be a good fit for your next trip, there are links in the description where you can check the latest pricing and details. And if you're interested in working with us or sponsoring a future video, you can reach me through the email down there too. I hope this breakdown was helpful, and if it was, a thumbs up goes a long way. And if you guys have questions about Faye, Private Honors, or travel insurance in general, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to reply. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.